Hello and welcome to episode 3 of how to create your own note block songs in survival Minecraft. My name is MoatsArt and today we will be talking about bass lines. Now, for some of you who only watch the more popular guy on YouTube who does note block tutorials, you may have no idea what a bass line is or how to use it. So today I'm going to explain the properties and the uses for said bass lines and what it can really bring to a single line melody. Now, if you recall from episode 1, you'll remember that if you place a wood block underneath the note block, it will change the timbre of the note block to a bass guitar, and it also brings the note range down by an octave, as you can hear here. So today we are going to be using our bass notes to be able to bring a lot of depth to this otherwise pretty boring Jingle Bells tone. So let's give this a quick listen as to what we created last time. Now, for some of you, that might sound just fine, and you could be just happy with that. That is okay. But for those of you who are still watching, you're probably looking to do a little something more detailed and more in-depth than just your single-line melody. So let's kick this off, and I'll show you what we're doing here. Now, what I've done is I've copied over what we have here to this side here, and instead of using a 4-tick delay, I've actually spaced this out to have two 2-tick delays with just a... Oh dear. That's what happens when you're creative. Just place a stone block here just so the redstone signal will continue to continue through the path. But I've separated it out, as you can see, into two 2-tick repeaters instead of one 4-tick repeater, just so we can have some more room to play here. Now, since this note is being powered by the redstone line, this block will also power any blocks that are touching it. So we can power 2 lines of music, the melody and the bass line, all through this one redstone line of repeaters. But before we get started, we're going to have to set down our wood blocks underneath where the bass notes are going to go so that we can tune them up and hear our bass line. So for our first example, I'm going to use a very simple bass line that anybody can use if you know the chord progression or the chords on which the melody is sitting. You'll be able to use this concept to give your note block songs a little bit more depth. We are going to put a bass note on every downbeat of every measure. So we have, this is our starting note, our starting note within the measure. This is the downbeat on beat 1, so we're going to start with a bass note there. We have Jingle Bells, and then this is the next downbeat, so we're going to put another bass note here. Then we have another downbeat starting here. We can put a bass note here if we want, but we don't necessarily need one. Let's go ahead and see if we can tune up a bass line. Now, unfortunately, the first opening line to Jingle Bells isn't that exciting in the bass line because it's all sitting over the same chord for the first line. But we're going to tune it up anyway so you guys can hear the dimension that it really gives to the note block songs. Now, since this whole line is going to start by sitting on top of a C chord, we are going to use the root of that chord to tune up our bass line. The root of a C chord is obviously then a C, so we're going to start with a C here, which we know from the previous song is going to be 6 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or you can tune it up by ear. Now let's give that a listen and see what it does to our basic song. Here's the song without the bass line. And here's with the bass line. As you can hear, it gives a lot of dimension to the song, even though it's not that interesting right now. It really does bring a lot of depth to our single line melody. Now, without getting too much into music theory, I'm going to give you a couple of guidelines that'll help you be able to create your own bass lines using some pretty basic concepts. So if we start with the root of the chord like we did over here, you tune up a C for every downbeat. try that again. And that'll give you the same thing we've got over there. And as you can see, that's really, really basic. So if you want to make that a little more interesting, you can add the fifth of the chord. Now to find the fifth, you just count up. We've got the C is our root. So you start with C is 1, D is going to be 2, E is going to be 3, F is 4, and G is our fifth. So we'll put down our root note here, which is our C. I'm going to tune up a G that's actually below the C to make it a little more interesting. There's just one click there. Tune up a C again. We're going to alternate between the root and the fifth. This is going to be one click. We got the C again, the fifth, and our root. And as you can hear, this is going to make it a lot more interesting. So we can go ahead and tune that up on this one here so you can hear how that's going to affect the Note Block song here. Now I could technically replace this block, put a wooden plank underneath it and the note block on top for a bass line, but just to keep things separate, I'm going to show you the melody down the center and the bass line on the side here. So this is going to be our fifth, which is actually one click. Our fifth, our root, our fifth, and our root. So let's give this a listen. We're going to listen to these side-by-side comparison. Here is the root and fifth combination. As you can hear, that's a lot more interesting then. So again, I'm just alternating between the root and the fifth of the chord. Just on the offbeat, it's going just like this. So if you want to get a little bit more into the theory of music, you can use the root, the third, and the fifth, or you could then even go crazy and start using sevenths and ninths and all sorts of things. For this example, I'm just going to use alternating between the root, third, and the fifth, and back and forth, just kind of rocking back and forth. We got the root, which is our C, and then we tune up an E, and the fifth, which is the G, and then we go back down to the third, and the C, and the third, and the fifth, and the third, and the root. And let's give that a listen. As you can see, it's a lot more involved, so it's going to be a lot busier than something like this, but I think this bass line here is quite tasteful. So really, what kind of a bass line you decide to use is completely up to you. Really, it just really comes down to what sounds the best and what sounds best to you. So experiment, give it a couple tries, and I'm going to provide a couple... I'm going to provide a couple of links down in the description with some more resources on bass lines and bass notes and such, so that you can get a little bit more idea of how to create your own bass lines to the song. But for today, we're going to stick with those, and we'll get more into some advanced topics later in the series. So thanks for watching. Please hit that like button if this was helpful to adding some dimension to your Note Block songs. If you want to see more on how to liven up your songs, stick with the series. Please subscribe so that you're up to date on the future episodes, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.